Hey there, we thought we'd film a story for you while we're eating lunch today. And it's hot out, so we're eating inside. This someday will be the dining room, but not yet, unless you count because there's a table here. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the first time we saw Gracie, the very first time. And we were driving up from, Maryland. We were visiting friends in another part of Maryland over on the Eastern Shore. And we came up to see the house. And we couldn't get into the house, so we only could do like a drive-by, so to speak. But the driveway was not permitting a drive-by, right?
No, there's a chained gate across the road that stops you from coming in. They said we could take this little path through the forest to get there, but we didn't really want to do that because we didn't know how to get in.
Right. I had Google searched it or Google mapped it, and I saw there was a really long driveway, so I thought that would probably work, and it actually did. But driving up here, we weren't sure what we were going to see because, I don't know if you remember from the other video, we had stopped on another trip on the way down to see a house, but it just wasn't for us. Right from the very beginning, we could tell it just didn't have the right vibe. So we weren't quite sure how this one was going to be. There were only 2 houses available, so that was the only choices. Hopefully this one was going to work. So we drove up to the driveway, and don't tell anybody, but we climbed over the fence. There was more of a gate, right? Not just a chain. We climbed over the gate and walked down the really long driveway, and there were weeds everywhere. What kind of feeling did you get when we walked in?
Yeah, the property had been abandoned for so many years that the weeds and trees and vines had kind of taken over.
Yeah, vines are a big thing here in Maryland.
So the driveway was very narrow and overhung over the top. It was kind of creepy.
Yeah, and the weeds in the middle of the driveway were like waist high. No one had been here for quite some time. So we made our way down the driveway, came to the house, and before this, we'd only seen pictures of the house. We'd seen pictures of the outside and pictures of the inside. Inside was completely empty, thank goodness. It wasn't full of stuff or everything. But remember, on this trip, we were only going to see the outside of the house. What did you think when you first saw it?
Well, I really loved the property right when I saw it because it was big. And you could see it had potential. You could see it. You could see like little stone walls in places that were buried with weeds and stuff. But,
They're still buried in weeds.
yeah, but you could see the makings of little paths and little structures all over the property. And the property's big. It's 9 acres. So, and we even found some nice outbuildings that had a lot of good potential on the property.
Yeah, we have a smokehouse. We have something called the quarters, which is actually a slave quarters. We have documentation on it. Doesn't have a weird vibe, so don't worry, but the state is going to start renovating that to make sure that it stays a part of history. And there's a big garage that we didn't even know was there. It was literally hidden by foliage. There's a giant 2-car cinder block garage, obviously not built in 1795. That, the ceiling, there's no roof, right? Or the ceiling collapsed? I haven't been there in a while.
A little bit collapsed, but it's salvageable. So it needs roofing. But the cinder blocks are okay. It'd be great for a workshop, garages, that kind of stuff.
Couldn't even see it. It was so funny. So we took a walk around the property, but when we first saw it, I thought, wow, this one is really cool. I did not have the weird vibe that I had at the other one. Did you get a weird vibe at all?
No, it was kind of more of a stately kind of property, like a little bit of an estate, as opposed to the other one was just middle of a cornfield.
Yeah, exactly. There was no cornfield here. And this one, like I said previously in a previous video, this one was near a town. So we walked around. There was, again, things growing everywhere. We were peeking in the windows, but the windows were filthy. In fact, some of the windows are still filthy as I'm looking over there. The rooms I haven't gotten to yet, the windows are not looking too good yet. But peeking inside, it felt good. It felt right. And so now we needed to get to see the inside. So we had to make an appointment to do that. We couldn't just, we didn't want to break in, obviously. That would be ridiculous. So we had peeked through the windows. Did we see anything inside through the windows? Do you remember?
It was really cleaned out, the house. There was only 2 or 3 pieces of furniture in the whole house. There was a chair, a drying
that's right.
rack.
The chair I turned into the tie chair. Oh, I'll put a picture of that on there. There was a chair, just a frame, and I turned it into a tie chair. My good friend Sarah told me how to do it.
And there was one big desk in the keeping room, gigantic desk, still in there.
Still there. I don't know how they got it in, and I don't know how we're going to get it out, but it's still there.
So no, nothing scary looking that we could see from the windows inside. There's some weird wallpaper in here all over the house that we could see. Definitely we could see from the windows. Crazy wallpaper. Every room had different bizarre wallpaper.
I almost think that whoever lived here before, and who did live here before, was the head of security, I believe, for the park. I think somebody in his family worked for a wallpaper company in the 80s because it was all 80s wallpaper. In fact, the room sitting there now, you can't see it in the picture, but had blue stripe. Oh no, blue flowered wallpaper. The bedroom I just finished had blue striped wallpaper. It no longer has blue stripe. It's blue, but it's not blue striped wallpaper. What else did we think when we saw the house? I can't really remember. We were excited, right?
Yeah, we saw it had a pretty good roof on it, so what we could tell from the outside, the roof looked fine, the chimneys looked okay, just need a little pointing.
I think the most important is we didn't feel overwhelmed by it, right?
Nah, it just looked like it needed a good coat of paint, a little bit of rot.
Still needs a good coat of paint.
But it looked sealed up tight, so just an old abandoned house, but not just decrepit old abandoned house, just more of a stately, big old abandoned house. It was bigger than we thought, too.
Yeah, it does look bigger than I mean, I guess it's pretty big. It's 5 bedrooms, but this house is done in a line. It's not like a shotgun from front to back. It's side to side. So it was built that way so that when it's nice out like today, you can open the front and the back doors and the wind goes right through, the breeze goes right through. So the house is only 1 room deep. So we have living room, hallway, dining room, kitchen, and what we call the keeping room, which is a big giant fireplace. Right now it's our workroom. I don't think I've ever posted a picture of that, but it's really cool. It has the old wooden beams in there too. But so everything's just in one line. So what happens is whenever you need something, it's always on the complete opposite end of the house than where you are. And you have to figure out which staircase you're going to go up or down. But always, always, always.
But yeah, that's what we saw on our first visit, so it didn't dishearten us. We wanted to definitely see the inside when we saw the outside.
And then when we left, because we were only here maybe 30 minutes, I mean, how much could you look at when you can't get in? On the way home, on the ride home, so we had a good 2.5, 3 hour ride home, we talked about the house, and I think we were both on the same page, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. We knew we wanted to see it, the inside, before we made any decisions about it.
I think we'd already made our decision at that point anyway, right?
Pretty much. I mean, it would have had to been really horrible inside for us to say no.
Holes in the floor or something. Yeah, because we were excited because, like I'd said in the last video, we were looking for something different. We needed something to do of our unretirement plan. Because as I said, we're never really going to retire. We want to keep doing stuff, and this seems to be perfect. Like Joe's badge, I was putting wallpaper up in a room earlier, and he has a little piece of it stuck to him. But that is our life down here. The ride home was great. We decided we wanted it. I called up our contact and made an appointment to see what was going on inside. And once we got inside a couple weeks later, that's when it all changed, right?
Right, for sure.
So in the next video, we'll talk about what we saw when we came inside. All right, thanks for joining us. Oh, and remember to subscribe so you see what's going on in our crazy world down here, saving Gracie. Bye.
Bye.